Why is everybody so far away? Yes, that sounds fantastic. It's a great idea. Thank you.
To be fair, Sylvia said it was right here when I got here.
Should I do that too?
These chairs are dramatic.
The chairs.
It's like
Make a report to the management.
Okay.
I go on to social media.
Blast them at social media.
I am. Why do the chairs make it sound like we're farting?
Local staff member complains about
So we have some new faces. We also have actually not as many of the faces that were here last time. I know we got some people out of town, all that fun stuff. First question. Well, let me share with people that are new. Hi, I'm Anthony. I am a decent performing real estate agent. I'm an alright investor. I think I'm qualified to teach this class because I have made more mistakes than most people have tried. The reason why, so this class, initially the intention of this class was just real estate investing. It was coming in and teaching real estate investing. I noticed very quickly that people were coming and getting information and not getting into activity. My intention was not to just give information just to make you feel good and feel like you know a lot of stuff. My intention is to give you the information and the push and a comfortable safety net so that you can get out there empowered, informed to go out there and do a little filling of your own. And so the pivot had been, instead of just coming in and just doing real estate investing, because I'm like the mechanics person, I can do the mechanics and the boring stuff, like I'll nerd out about that stuff, but I find that most people they don't want to do that all the time. So we also have incorporated into the class mindset stuff. So we're talking about wealth in general. We're talking about finance, budget. We're talking about vision, planning, just kind of all the other stuff that kind of goes around the supporting stuff that makes it a little bit more comfortable to be a real estate investor, to pull the trigger on some of those things. Last month, previously I had an epiphany that not everybody understood what the formula was for net worth, or how to figure out what is my net worth. So we talked a little bit about that. I can only ask the few people that were here last time, did anybody actually go back and figure out what their net worth was? And if so, do you want to share? Bueller?
I did. Took me a few minutes. But I've actually updated it with new information that I got this month already.
All right.
My net worth is $187,140.29.
To the penny.
Okay.
So one of the things, anybody else? So fun fact, statistically, I think the average homeowner has a net worth that's like 40 times a non-homeowner. Real estate historically is the most consistent way to build wealth. 90% of millionaires use real estate to help them build wealth. So it just definitely makes sense to learn and understand real estate and figure out where is it that you can fit in and you can get into it. We also talked about Batting averages. We talked about that batting a 300, which is 30% in the professional baseball league, makes you about $10 million a year. 30%, right? I think a lot of times we think that we have to have everything right. We have to get everything, like everything's got to be perfect to get started. And realistically, that's just not. The action takers are rewarded, getting out there consistently, figuring out where you are and getting better. One of the things that a lot of the gurus will say, that when you start to get out there and get your reps in, a ratio will appear. If I know that when I absolutely hated cold calling, but I know that if I called 1,000 people, I would talk to about 100 people, like I'd get about 100 people on the phone, and out of that 100 people on the phone, I would get 5 or 6 really good conversations, and I would get 2 or 3 appointments that would probably turn into a listing or something like that. And so I knew those numbers, which means once you start to get an activity, I know if I needed 3 pieces of business, I know exactly what I need to do. I need to go call 1,000 people, right? And so that makes it a lot, it doesn't make it easier, but it makes it simpler, figuring out what your ratios are. And then once you figure out what your ratios are, it's skill work, right? Because now, if I were to go back and cold call, I am sure that it wouldn't take me talking to 100 people to get 6 good conversations. I think if I'd get it, I'd hope to say I'd get at least 12. Like I'm at least twice as good as what I was. I'd like to say it's probably more than that, right? You can work, once you understand what your ratios are, you can work on the skill set to improve it. So you can get more time back, you can make it a lot easier. Did anybody go out and work on their ratios? Ashley. I pick on Ashley just so Ashley used to work with me at McDonald's, and Ashley is a great student that lets me pick on her and push her way outside her comfort zone. She has really, really, really huge goals, and she is extremely introverted, so she's struggling with all that stuff. So I take every opportunity I can to get her outside, get her razzled, and see if I can turn her red.
I'm just red, okay?
Now she's turning red.
I have not talked to people because I was doing those letters. I haven't written one this month.
So I just want to remind everybody, the goal is not just to come in and just learn. And there's a time and place, right? Everybody's got their own specific goals. Everybody's got their own what's important, timing, all that stuff. And so this is not, like we were talking about real estate investing as how it applies to your wealth building. But it's really more so the whole success thing. So it's not just money, right? And so there's time and season where there are other things that we make the priority. And so that also is okay if it's on the plan. Ashley has been working with, Ashley is doing a lot of stuff. Ashley is actually putting together her Dungeons and Dragons themed Airbnb. Stop. It's on the screen now. What's up? Among other things. So I'm giving her a little bit of a break, but she has this goal of making $10,000 a month passive within the next 3 years. So I'm not giving her too much of a break. Man, a lot of this class was for some of the people who have been here. There's another question I wanted to ask about vision. We, at the beginning of the year, we did a vision board, part of the class. A couple months ago, we did a bring your vision boards in and just lock in and make sure that you're looking at it again. Can anybody speak to their vision board? Like, I know what's on my vision board with clarity. Like, I can, anybody but Ashley.
Half of it.
Hector.
I have on my vision board that I'm gonna buy a ranch, right?
Mhm.
I have a ranch. I'm spending time off with my wife over in the beach. That's why I'm traveling more with her. And then I have a 200K, which is the profit I wanna make in the next 6 months, which is interesting.
It's what?
Interesting.
Why is it?
I don't know, it's getting closer and closer, and I'm just like, okay. I'm working on it.
So I'm gonna challenge you on that.
Yeah.
One of the things I heard when you said it's interesting, it sounded like there is a hint of disbelief that it's gonna happen. Would you say that's accurate?
It's, I know I'm not reaching the KPIs I should, so that's why. I know it's like, I'm not there yet.
So my question is that a goal or a commitment?
I haven't made a commitment. Or
Because
I'm trying to.
I think if you made it a commitment, I think you would be looking at things differently.
Yeah.
Because being in a full-time, he's a full-time real estate investor,
Yeah.
and he's been doing the work. It is very, very possible to do what you're trying to do. It's just a matter of, and this is where you have to figure out as far as priorities, because there's, like we said, there is a time, there's a season, like, hey, if this is my time right now, is taking time with the family, I can get clear, hey, this needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
Right? This is like, yes, it would be nice to do this, but maybe I'm gonna adjust it because my priority right now is family time.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think having a higher level of clarity helps significantly, because if you're in a place to where you're saying, hey, like, you never want to be in a situation where, like, I feel like my family is costing me my
Yeah.
goal, right? And so being able to get clear and say, hey, I'm giving myself permission, then I'm not in this weird, like, beating myself up because I didn't hit the goal,
Yeah.
because I'm clear, we made a intentional decision to suspend this, and this is what the new timeline looks like.
Yeah, I guess whenever I set that goal, I wasn't clear about anything until the last 2 weeks. It's been a lot clearer, exciting, but I don't know.
So in general, they say goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. That time-bound is one of the ones that a lot of people hesitate to commit to because it feels like it's real. Like, I feel if I set this goal that I'm gonna do this by this time, I gotta really be real with myself. If I'm not hitting it, am I doing the stuff? Because I can always say, oh, I can make $1 million when I decide to, right? And then the pressure's not on. If I say I'm gonna make $1 million by the end of the year, I gotta look at myself in the mirror if I didn't do it. Or I gotta say, let me step up because I'm going to do it. Anybody else clear about their vision? Okay, Ashley.
Oh, yeah, okay, I have a 1-year goal to have a second rental property and a 5-year goal to have 6 rental properties. And I actually recently updated it to include some specific things regarding my finances, to include getting all of our credit cards down to 30% usage, a $30,000 down payment for a second investment property, a $14,000 in reserves for our current rental property, and $10,000 in reserves for our current primary home. It's a lot.
Is it a goal or commitment?
Commitment. It's on the board. I'm already working towards it. I've got 2 of them already there for the credit cards. So I'm
So
committed.
you're committed.
Mhm.
In addition to, Ashley's gonna have her Dungeons and Dragons Airbnb up and running by June of next year. Just in time for the summer because her house has a pool.
That's gonna be awesome.
So if you know any nerds,
Yes, send all the nerds to me.
so this is what I would like you guys to notice. The people that said that they were clear about their goals are also clearly making steps towards them. I think that a lot of times when we are like, we have this, we have this vision, we have these things that we like, we have this, but I may have not gotten all the way clear on what that looks like. It's really hard to start making steps towards that if I'm not clear. And so the vision board, we talked about the vision board, we brought the vision board back in to make sure that you're looking at it, but it's really getting super clear because the vision board will help you with orientation. Ashley is saying that we have these specific monetary goals, which Ashley also said, I'm not spending no money. And I mean, you should have heard us on that Zoom, and I'm like, you can't. She's like, nope. I'm like, okay. But when we have that clarity, right, it helps us stay locked in. It helps us navigate decision making. One of the things that I keep going back to, in 2020, I'd made a decision that I wanted to start 2 new companies. And I was clear, I wanted to start 2 new companies. I didn't know what they looked like at that point, but I was positive that I was gonna start 2 new companies. And then COVID happened. And everybody threw their rule books out the window and said, like it's all bets off. But because I was clear, when opportunities presented themselves, I was able to say, hey, is this aligned with the goals that I have? Yes, it is. And it was an interesting experience for me because neither one of them looked like what I thought they were gonna look like. It wasn't like, I just like, oh, I'm gonna start this business, here it is. It was like, hey, here's a problem, or here's something that came up. Like, can you do something about this? Here, somebody actually came to me and said, hey, so I'll work for you if, and I'm like, I'm not hiring. What are you talking about? I didn't, if you could just make sure, this is when I was doing construction. And I'm like, I'm not trying to do anything. And then I'm looking, because I was clear that I wanted to start, and I'm like, does this align? Does this make sense? And it was actually a great compliment to what I was already doing. That's why I think that if you haven't put your vision board, like, yes, it's writing it down. Yes, it's having it, but looking at it, practicing it, making sure that you have clarity and refining it so that you're actually moving towards it. I wanted to, last time, one of the things that we did she send in the emails to everybody?
What?
The other one? These things, or you printed them?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was 2 separate questions.
Yes.
And then the call sheet.
Let me see.
No, this one.
So this one's for later.
This one.
This one's for later. Okay. So Hector, I'm gonna break you up.
Okay.
It's gonna be an odd number. You guys mix your groups, but you guys can't be together. 2 groups. So what we did last time, what I realized, a lot of times we come in here, we talk about the basics. Actually, before I do that, what are some of the ways that we can invest in real estate?
Rentals.
Rentals, okay. What else?
Lending,
What'd you say?
lending,
Lending,
Flipping.
flipping,
Wholesale.
wholesale, subject to. What else?
Novation.
Novation,
Bird dogging? Is that the right?
bird dogging,
Co-living.
Is this different?
Alicia said owner financing, but she whispered it.
I was trying to make sure it's different.
What did I say?
Co-living.
Co-living, they call that house hacking. Here are some of this is not the extensive list of all the things that you can do in investing. This is just some of the things. What is house hacking? Hector, you brought it up. What is house hacking? How does that work?
The one I understand is like, for example, if you buy a triplex, you live in one and rent the other 2, and the other 2 or 2 units pay for all 3.
So there's a lot of ways that you can house hack. Basically, it's using your mortgage. You can split up your mortgage. So you're buying a multifamily, renting out the other ones, and being intentional, right? As a single person, I can go and buy a multifamily in the hood. I'm fine, right? I get a great deal. So buying with intention, you can also rent out rooms in your house, right? Some people will do Airbnb, some of those different things to offset the mortgage. Some people will do individual room rentals, like 3 different, door locks. Everybody pays $600 a month. They get their room, their whatever situation. Also, I think this is kind of, sort of in that space. But the way I recommend for most people to get started with investing is buy your primary residence, then buy a new primary residence and rent out the old one. Because it is the easiest, simplest way. Your down payment is lower, your interest rate is better, the qualifications are simpler, and the more important part is the mindset. Buying an investment property, like everybody can say, I want to be a real estate investor, but then it says, okay, buy a property and have a tenant. You say, ooh, I don't really know about that. Right, but renting out my old house, it doesn't really sound that scary. And so mentally, that's for me, I recognize that mentally the adjustment to becoming a real estate investor is a lot easier when I buy a new house and rent out my old house. Usually by the time I'm ready to do that, the rents have appreciated so that I can actually profit on my mortgage. And so a lot of those things could make sense. What's the subject to?
when you purchase a house subject to the existing mortgage.
What does that mean?
That means
The owner stays on the mortgage?
that
Pay it?
the old owner, the mortgage that they're currently paying, those payments come from me now. I would typically become the person on the deed, the lien, but the owner would still remain on the mortgage.
So you're buying the property by transferring title but keeping the loan in the original borrower's, the original owner's name.
Yes.
That's a subject to. What's an ovation?
You want me to answer that one?
No. Hector? Yeah.
Okay, so, it's basically, well, the way I understand it, it's, getting a property, the owner still, the owner's still in the deed, but then you help him rehab it and then kinda sell it and kinda split the property.
So an ovation, what he's saying is an ovation is kind of like a cross between a wholesaling and a joint venture. With the novation, it is still in the original owner's name. But you make an agreement with the owner and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I will buy this property for you, but I'll pay you in 4 months or 5 months or something like this. I'm not gonna give you cash right now. What I'm gonna do is you sign this contract agreeing that, like, I gotta do whatever I gotta do to get your house ready and market it, but you'll sell it to me for this price. I get power of attorney, maybe I do improvements to the house, I list it on the MLS, I take care of the negotiations, the repairs, the commissions, all the stuff. I go to the closing table, and then when I get to the closing table, I go back, and that's why I need you to come back and sign saying that, hey, you remember that agreement that we had? Yes, you know that I signed an agreement with you to buy it from you for $160, and I sold it for $280. Yes, but I already told you about that, so you're not surprised, and you got the money that you're looking for. I need you at the closing table so I can get the money that is a return of my investment. What's the benefit of innovation?
You don't have to put money down.
You don't have to come up with your own money. In some situations, you fix up the property. In some situations, you may find something that's good enough to where you don't have to fix it up. But a lot of them, you may clean it out. Sometimes you get all the trash out of it, get a cleaner in there to make it look nice and cute, and put it back on the market. Sometimes you actually do actual renovations depending on what your goal is. Sometimes speed wins, right? If I just trash it out, put it back on the market, I may make a little bit less, but I'm going to get my cash back out, avoid the market shifting, give somebody else some value, and on to the next one. What is bird dogging? I know you don't know what bird dogging is?
I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Bird dogging is,
Finding properties for investors.
what'd you say?
Finding properties for investors.
Absolutely. You're finding properties for investors. Hey, I don't know, I don't want to get into, like, I'm not sure about the legal jargon or getting under contracts, or I'm not ready to do all that stuff, and it sounds like, honestly, I'm too busy, but I'll have some conversations with some people. I'll put my ear out there, talk to people, do whatever. When I hear somebody that says that they're interested, I'll connect them with the investor that I know. And that investor, when they can close a deal, may give you $1,000, right? I got paid $1,000 for conversation. It's not too bad, right? That's bird dogging. What is owner finance? What is owner finance?
The owner becomes a bank, and you just pay him to buy the property, like monthly payments.
The owner is the bank. The owner is the one who is financing, they're creating terms, they're having the conversation. usually the owner financing, the way that you're making the money is you may be, depending on how you purchased it, you may be trying to get a large amount of money from the down payment, but then you're also collecting money on the interest. Typically, owner finance, you're making higher than what the market interest rate is, so you can beat the market on your money. And so for owner finance, for a lot of people, owner finance is a better option than renting or selling, right? I don't have to necessarily take the capital gains hit. I can make I can make more than what I could get as a rental, and then I don't have the landlord responsibilities. What is a wraparound mortgage?
Subject to and owner finance put together.
Subject to an owner finance put together. So a wraparound mortgage says, I'm gonna put a mortgage around the mortgage that's already in place. So if I don't own the property, then it's not, I have to address the loan that's already there. If there's already a loan in place, there's $50,000, and I want to resell the property to somebody else for $100,000, I can do that, but there's a legal procedure that I have to go through and say, we're gonna put that loan around the existing loan that's already there. Pretty sure everybody knows what a rental is, right? How do you make money lending in real estate?
The entry.
Yeah, so you can, there's a few different ways. You can lend to smaller projects. Some people say, here's money for the entire project. Some people will lend for specific parts. Some people will lend for like joint venture. Joint venture is where, hey, I may put my money in there. I don't want to do none of that other stuff. You got that other stuff. You got the work, you got I'm just the money. We split whatever the profit is. What is flipping? Mary, what is flipping?
I don't really know, but taking a home and turning it around to make a profit out of it?
Taking a home and turning it around, like just flip it around like this.
No. Like remodel it.
So you're buying a house,
Mm-hmm.
you're creating, you're forcing appreciation, turning it for a profit. How do you make money flipping? When do you make money flipping?
When you buy.
You make money when you buy.
That's what I said.
It is very important to buy right. A lot of times people get excited about the idea of flipping. This is gonna be the next Pearl, this is gonna be the next Riverwalk, and they'll overpay because they think that they can make that money on the other side of it. But with flipping, it is very important that you make your money on the buy. What's the formula?
70% of ARV minus repair.
70% of ARV
Close it to 60.
Yeah.
minus repairs. I just make the ARV lower.
Sure.
So some people, depending on 7% of ARV, what's ARV mean? After repair value. So if the house, after it's fixed up, is worth $100,000, I wanna buy it for no more than $70,000 all in. If it costs me $20,000 in repair, the most that I can spend on it is $50,000. It's the highest I can purchase for, according to the formula. And some people's strategy is actually, you say, Hector said 65%, right? Or the same thing, or making the ARV a little bit more generous in the ARV, you're going a little bit under so that you can give value to the market, because you have to be able to adjust with the market. Right now, the market is not the most excited to purchase. Typically, the people who are buying right now are people who need to buy and investors. It's not the people who are looking for the dream home at scale. Some people are, but it's not like it was a couple of years ago where everybody, and so just because I put the house on the market and it looks cute or good enough, I'm gonna get a buyer, no. So you want to, people are looking for value. And so you can build value into your math, your equation from the beginning. What's wholesaling? Flipping contracts, what does that mean?
Contract and assign it to the buyer.
So you go under contract with somebody, you say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'll buy your house for $50,000. I will close in 45 days. They say, that sounds good to me. And then you say, Mr. and Mrs. Investor, I've got this property worth $65,000 that I want to sell to you for $65,000. It's worth $140,000. It's only got $10,000 in improvements. Mr. Investor says, that looks good to me. I'll bring the money to fund the deal. And Mr. Investor brings the money, the homeowner gets paid, and you get paid that $15,000 fee for being able to create a deal that made sense for everybody. So with that information, now we can split up into groups. So what we did last time is we actually got in groups and worked on actual scenarios that we created for you to go through and come up with some solutions. And so as a group, I would like you to get into groups of 4. I think we can do 4 now. We do girls versus boys. We can do groups of 4 that we can actually go through and.
Wait, you're saying split them up. Are they gonna have special interests or something? I wanna make sure we're not getting cheated.
You guys can group up. You don't have to wait for me. Actually, I'll just put this here to get your sheets.
So did you bring pens?
No, you guys don't have pens.
Oh, shit.
Let's see.
I might have some. I'm gonna go back there.
Well,
Actually, I might have.
Okay.
I'll take one more.
Okay. You can do with that. So as a group, you're gonna go through.
Yes, please.
You got it.
Yes, I very much so.
you need pen?
I got a pencil.
You want a pencil?
Planning to make some mistakes or what?
No, I just want to
She likes the smell of pencils.
She's so funny. She said you didn't have the title, so I put a title in there.
I was wondering.
You know that didn't come from me.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
creative solutions out of the house fast. Alright, 0 equity.
So the goal is to look at each one of these and figure out what kind of options, kind of talk through, figure out what kind of options you can come up with. And then we're gonna go discuss as a group.
Did y'all get a chance to look at the first one?
Probably easy about faces with it. So we turn this way. That one.
I'm just asking, I don't know.
No, because there's no agreement.
Oh, okay.
So you can sell it, there's nothing, right, so it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense, but.
Yeah, it's up to
I guess I'll leave the question and then we'll come up with a system. So a homeowner
Have Anthony contact?
No, I think, yeah, that was a good explanation. Yeah. So we got substitute for that reason, and then the investor could charge his interest since he'll make more money with the 0%.
When these are redeveloped,
Okay.
does that mean?
Question number 2, a landlord owns a property.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
like
like
repair
repairs
or
or something,
Dealing
or
with
is
the
it
property
like their
manager.
property?
It's currently vacant
Scrapping
and
it.
needs like
Okay.
repairs. She's open to selling, but doesn't want to deal with showing or repairs. I mean, the seller
They
is,
would get them out.
she's trying to sell as is, but she's not trying to make any repairs. She wants to sell it off market because she doesn't want to deal with showing. I'm guessing, you know, it being on market, people are gonna. So off jump, this is obviously gonna be an off market sale. It needs light repair.
I was like, if they're scrapping, they might be able to
Do y'all agree?
house that.
Yeah.
If they can find something and get like a money, or get
Right,
someone else to like.
Y'all know what, y'all know the wholesale.
Yeah, right over here. You're pretty much
Yeah.
like the middleman.
Yeah.
Between the investor and the
And the,
tenant.
exactly, the seller. Cool. I mean, somebody could come in and, I was like, just do it for wholesale, is, I guess for this scenario would be, you could just make the money, quickly. Alright, so number 3, a tenant just got a notice that the apartment complex is being redeveloped. They want to rent a house, but would rather own. Their credit is shaky, but they can afford $2,000 a month and have $3,000 saved. Their credit, yeah, their credit shaky, and they can only afford. Oh, but they can afford $2,000 a month. That's pretty high.
Very new at this.
And they have a $3,000 down payment. Yeah. So we're all in agreement that this would be owner finance. Yeah. Owner finance.
I'm gonna ask you to go a little bit further though. Owner finance, how do we get there?
Is it properly paid off?
How do we get to the owner finance? How do you make this? into
That's why I'm
a
like, right, all of them,
to maybe a owner finance
It should be in,
situation?
but what about?
If it's not, then it's or it still depends on it being paid off.
Well, we don't know if it's paid off.
So what I'm
Let's
saying,
say-
and so, yes, that's their problem, but what I'm asking is how do you figure out where to make it properly? Like, okay, knowing the
It could be
situation,
owner
this
finance,
person in this situation, how do I make it
you know,
do?
that way
What kind of income
it
would it offer?
doesn't.
I mean, he wants to
Maybe
rent
actually sell
the
it,
house, but would rather
He
He
sell
sells
it.
it like,
Yeah, he sells it, but.
So with owner financing, you're coming in to own the property.
Owner financing?
I can ask about
Is that something?
He said the same thing. But we're owner financing, we own it outright.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So you can owner finance and then flip it.
Do we wanna put that?
Well, how do you solve the
We're
problem?
gonna create it, yeah.
I don't know how.
So a couple ways that you could, so realistically, something like this is probably be, you're gonna have to get it
Actually, yeah, that would-
in order for it to make sense.
Well,
Yeah,
probably
is that the
something to-
easiest?
Yeah, just
Find
to
something
Like, not the
right.
easiest, but
that-
like, that's.
Right. Right.
Well, owner financing.
So it's like, that's part of it, but then what I'm trying to get you to do is figure out all the mechanics, like how do I get it there? So that you're open to what my intention is, the more you see these things, the more you're expanding it, and you go out and see something, and here's certain things, you say, hey, I might be able to do something. A lot of times when people are looking at investing, you're just looking in this little box. And so because it didn't fit in this little box, I didn't recognize this. Whereas what we're looking to say is, okay, how can I figure out, how do I actually make it work? Is there a way? And not every deal is a deal, right? I may say, there's not enough for me to do anything with it, right? I can't save everybody.
So that would definitely be something yeah, I mean, it's like different. Which kind of falls out in the same category. Yeah, it's like creative, you know. Question number 4 says, a couple is divorcing. Wife wants to remain off the mortgage. The house has a 3.75% loan and about $10,000 in equity. Her husband has moved out and they're open to someone taking over.
Okay.
You start with an initial, like, I'm gonna buy your house, or what's
Right.
unfixed, right? I would for sure.
Just, I mean, the key word is taking it over, you know.
So they just want,
I mean, they are just.
What does one thing off the mortgage, which, I mean,
Well, you
they
get
could do that,
this
you know,
wholesale, right?
subject to, right?
These updates.
And
But regardless, it has a 2.75%,
Yeah.
you should, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can have fun too, once it's yours, right? You can really can do a lot of them, sounds like that.
I mean, there's, yeah, a couple ways to go about that.
explain bird dog to me, finding properties for investors, is that what we said?
Yeah, I don't know how.
That's what I understood it to be.
So basically, like, if, let's say, you're looking for a house.
I'm curious, man, can you take them off like that?
So I just go out and.
Yeah, but you refinance and you're getting a new term, so you lose the 2.75, or you might,
I make like that.
right?
What's the question?
So we're trying to figure out, cause the wife wants her name off the mortgage. But the husband moved out, but they're open to someone taking it over.
Okay.
So wait, what's
So-
the, which one?
Yeah, or
It's
subject
on
to.
that one, there's a lot of options.
A lot of options.
So,
Like,
there is one thing that we hadn't talked about, and there's have you heard of an assumption? An assumption is qualified as an actual assumption, you actually go through and qualify, but then you actually take over the actual mortgage at current interest rate. The bank has to do a review, they go through their process, it's a little bit of a lengthy process, so they will actually review this. Alternatively, there may be conversation around having that. If they're divorcing, then they can put that in the divorce decree. If you're early enough, you may be able to structure that while they're having conversations. In the divorce decree, they take that off, it's not theirs, they're giving ownership to that.
So far.
I think I remember that in real estate school. I forgot about that. There's a con behind that though, right? What's the con behind assuming the loan? That if something gets carried over, I forgot. I might be wrong.
I mean, not
But I
that
thought
you make much money, but you can like
one of the
get your money
teachers
out of it, cause it's still better than it was.
saying that there's
And
like
it's just
some
like, tell them
con
they have
about
this much to do.
assuming the loan.
Yeah, kind of.
Are they talking about
The
signature?
investor taking
Or
over.
assuming.
I don't think cons.
No.
A lot of times it depends on how you acquire it, right? And it just,
So what happens with the equity?
They can do. They'll know. So usually in those type of situations,
Kinda like-
they do that, right? But it's all conversation. Divorce, sometimes divorces get fine. It may be a lot of stuff is depending on what you can do, how you can negotiate. Like, who would you know, $10,000? Maybe I can figure out how to do it. Ideally, I can figure out a perfect scenario. I give you $10,000, but after discovering the information, I have to make sure that it makes sense. Chances are, you write a check for that, right? And usually with the assumption, when you do the assumption, if I owe
I think I'll make
$100,000 and you're assuming
Yeah, I was like, it's like-
$100,000, and I wanted to sell it to
exhausted
you,
the process
you
or
bring
financially
$100,000
exhausted when it was happening to me.
to get this to 200. So you bring $100,000, you take over my $100,000 loan, and you're still $200,000.
If you wanted
So typically an assumption,
But yeah,
there is
they-
some cash involved. But it also just depends, right? In this scenario, you're probably gonna happily pay the $10,000 because you're not gonna be able to get 2.7.
Cause isn't that something, I think that's something that he's done before, too, like where you can basically.
Alright. Number 5.
make
A man inherited a renter that's been vacant for 9 months. He has no experience managing property and doesn't want to pay taxes or fix it up. He's not in a rush, but said, just make me an offer.
That's the best you can come up with?
He inherited a rental vacant for 9 months. He has no experience managing the property and doesn't want to pay taxes or fix it up. Not in a rush, so
If you pay some taxes if you sell it. Typically. How we reduce the tax responsibility. What other options do we have?
I mean, definitely.
to reduce his tax return.
Right, you say, hey, I give you a little bit now, but if you're not paying that huge tax bill, and now I can come up with 2 great returns.
So I think,
You're not in a rush,
I think she's
pay you in 2 years, 5 years, 10
Like-
years, 30 years.
what's the best thing he can do as an investor, right? And then I think you're thinking like, if I'm presented with a situation, how can I become an investor in it? I think that's what I'm. Yeah.
So, and this, about to say earlier, so it says that the gentleman is not in a rush to sell it. And so, one of the answers, what was the first answer you said? Yeah, so flip it, like buy it or buy it and flip it. Which, a situation like this, some situations you have to make sure that you're looking at your end game to see which strategy makes the most sense. Right, because there's a ton that I can do with this information, and you may let me go a bunch of different ways. But one of the ways that I can do is, if you sell a finance to, you say you're not in a rush to get paid. So you can sell a finance to me. And so, in the seller finance, I may agree to pay you $1,000 a month for 30 years. And so, or base it on that and say there's a balloon that's due in 5 years or 3 years or 10 years. Right, you're not in a rush, but I can create terms that are favorable at my $1,000 a month mortgage and rents are going for $2,000 a month. And now I'm able to generate a monthly income.
So with the seller finance, they don't have to, it's up to the person buying to pay the taxes from there on out, right?
So, you're talking about, well, so we're talking about property taxes or income taxes?
Or it just says pay taxes,
So
so I'm
usually-
assuming it's property.
Well, I guess I wasn't as clear as I could have been. So, so I was looking at the perspective of hearing, and that is a good point, good, yeah. So, from the income tax side of it, he would have to pay, because if it's investment property, he would have to pay, you know, what I'm saying, that's the share, 33% or whatever. financing, then you're not selling it for, you didn't get $200,000. You might have got $20,000, right? But the payments were less than it. And so then, he's not gonna get taxed at the same tax bracket that he would be because you did that on the finance. Now, on the other side of it, yes, the taxing is a strategy conversation, part of the negotiation, property taxes.
Terms for payments is definitely.
What do you think?
I think for, that doesn't gonna ever, for example, end of the year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think it's better for management.
Yeah, so this is, so, Al, that's where I was going with this, right? It's really, this is what we talked about vision, when somebody sits down with me and says, hey, I'm looking at investing, the first questions I ask them are, what are your goals? Are you looking at wealth building? Are you looking at building cash? Are you looking at building cash flow? Because depending on what it is that I'm looking to do, the strategies that I'm suggesting, when I have a blank canvas about opportunities, then, like, the quick thing could say, yes,
Yeah,
it's
because kind of
cash.
the risk of.
But this could be a relatively easy way to get into a rental. This could be a relatively easy way to get into something like that's in alignment with my longer term goals. And so having that clarity gives me, alignment.
They charge you crazy amounts
Okay.
for the insurance.
Alright, y'all. Number 6, a seller owns a vacant lot next to new construction homes. The city is about to put in sidewalks and utilities. The lot is currently overgrown and the seller hasn't paid taxes in 3
If it's a
years.
bad house and flood insurance, and it's like, you gotta.
Probably. Because if you're doing that kind of stuff, it's a matter of time. They say, oh, we can do something with that.
So he hasn't paid taxes in 3 years, new constructions,
So what's your strategy?
If you're in Grand Valley, it's like.
Wholesaler, you could
Yeah,
do a new construction,
it would be,
those are my two, I don't know anybody else got
Yeah,
it.
I'm not.
More creative.
it's in the space. So if I, hopefully I remember this, if I tell you, okay, well, you just, like, I'll find somebody to buy it.
I feel the pressure. Okay, so I mean, there's multiple, possibilities. But yeah, me personally, just, I wholesale it to somebody that wants to do a new construction on it, or,
Yeah.
try to buy into it myself.
Cause then you probably have to go to other investors then versus which regular buyers.
15%.
But then
investors not.
yeah, even if you look at
Out of it,
investors,
and new construction.
Yeah.
Try to.
some say you have rental or house.
Something that we have to.
Yeah, maybe it just needs to be a rental,
Hold it,
like he needs to get it.
You gotta stay.
but we don't wanna pay full market value for a house or rent out.
Right.
If we own finance, and we go, hey, I'll get you out of this, but.
Yeah.
investor? Are you a real estate agent?
I am. Actually, was real estate.
Okay.
Does it no more?
So this is, there's not, well, there's some wrong answers. There's not necessarily a right answer. The whole purpose of this is not to say this is the only way. This is just to kind of get the ideas going. This is to make you think and start to be comfortable with solving, right? Because if you were to get a situation and in real life, if somebody were to present you some of these situations, if you're looking at saying, hey, all I know is flip, somebody can present you with a situation and say, oh, that doesn't make any sense, there's nothing to do there. Right? If you're tuned into recognizing opportunities and saying, let me stop and let me say, is there a deal here? Let me run through some of the different scenarios, then I may be able to say, hey, I can't do it this way, but I do this way. Because you may make an offer for a flip and say, right? And so then you may be able to say, okay, I don't have this is what it would make sense for me here, but I have this option or this option that they may be more amicable or agreeable with. And so the whole purpose is to just have a few tools in the tool belt that you feel comfortable being able to switch to.
Did you have any other questions?
You should call her.
No. Yeah, you have a bunch of names. No, my God. So I'm in this year. Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I just have to give you trouble.
Anyways,
Okay.
No, but see, this is the reason why you actually might have an advantage. Because this is one of the things that I recognize. A lot of people who speak Spanish don't have anybody to talk to. When they have situations like this, they don't know who to reach out to. And most of the agents and real estate people I've seen who are dealing with Spanish community are very predatory. And so a lot of times, they just because of lack of information, that they'll just, a lot of times they'll just ignore it and just let it go, or because the fact that, this is what I recognize, just like a lot of people who speak primarily Spanish prefer to talk to somebody in Spanish. And so they get nervous or uncomfortable and they start to have conversations and they kind of oh no, right? Where you'd be able to have these conversations and get all the way to the conclusion. And there are a lot of opportunities. A lot of people are not educated with real estate. And so if somebody passed away, you have this thing, you've been dealing with it, somebody's been paying parts of it, but we don't really know who owns it because we don't know how the rules work. Somebody's been staying there, you can solve the problem.
Just raise your prices, the students won't pay you anymore.
Let's go on to number 7. Alright, a young couple inherited a duplex that's been rented to family members for free. It needs updates and they don't want to be landlords. They don't have a mortgage but say, quote, we just want to go.
You and me both.
Don't answer that so quickly.
They inherited the duplex, haven't been making money on it. These updates, don't want to be landlords, they own it. Or somebody wants to take it over, and charge the family members, they don't have to kick them out. They're probably not gonna be happy about it, but. Or just, sell it.
And get new people to try to.
You
This is
know,
only
it's
have a legal reason. Why? Why?
Galvin?
Did you just like, well, sell this or?
I mean, it's,
Like, dude.
yeah,
You do a lot with this.
yeah, it's our options. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, every time I go.
Of course, they are coming from, yeah.
Do you really do that often? Like, I feel like I wouldn't want to.
Anything that's
be-
fast.
Like, I wouldn't want to be the owner in an overfinanced situation, just in case like they trip up and then, you know, like it's like.
So-
That's how you tell, or can I use that line, just like, well, in the case that I default.
It wants to get your house out there.
The owner still has the right to foreclose on you if you don't pay them. Us.
Okay, okay.
So there are solutions.
Got it, okay.
Plus, if you're doing all the finance, you're only getting $21 a month, plus this taxing, then a $300,000 suddenly
For-
hits,
yeah.
for the year.
That's true, okay.
Yeah. So I'll leave your stomach. Okay.
So we already do the next one?
Hey, I'm gonna say another state.
Number 8, an investor bought a house to flip but ran out of funds halfway through rehab. They put in $30K, that part, but estimate another $40K is needed. The ARV is solid, but they're exhausted.
So let's say someone from Colorado, maybe he's a wholesaler, and they.
Somebody put in on it.
They bought it
I mean, yeah, that's
$40,000.
what I was trying to get at. Yeah, like they could find a lender, like this would be a good one for somebody trying to land.
Property,
So landing or
Hey, I found this, give me a tighter step.
So this was.
if the ARV is really solid, I feel like the lender would land on it.
I'll tell you my personal opinion. Yeah, I don't go behind other investors. If you ran out of money, you had that vision, you probably should buy some things. There's probably some
Like,
You know, like,
Ashley's
you're
way.
talking-
It's usually nice. It's
Talk to
usually
me.
nice. Usually there's some you can go in and take over it, but then you have to undo some stuff, right? You may have to change design things. And so for me, I just make it a rule, like, I know that there's some deals there. To me, it just, I've walked behind enough investors. to say,
Oh, yeah. That's unfair.
So it could be, right, especially if you're, especially in a situation like this, if you're using hard money. If you're using hard money, it's gonna cost you time, and if you're having to go back, like, we have outlined that. And it's,
I mean,
like, I would be very thorough.
it is a lot of fines, but
And I don't
is
get
there
a
any?
inspection before I take over something. from an investor. Just to make sure that I don't have surprises.
Yeah. Like you said, I guess not every deal is a deal.
That's what I was selling.
But if somebody did wanna come in and land, that's like, would that be an option? Just not, okay.
But yeah. Wholesaling.
But all I have to do is pay your fines and the house is gone.
Yeah.
Straight buy it, flip it. We'll never know each one of your spouse.
Okay. Number 9 says a senior owns their home free and clear. They want to downsize but are worried about running out of money. They say they'll sell, quote, if they can keep getting income from it somehow. But the rendering,
Rental homes.
I just have them listed and.
Is this still recording?
Mhm.
Is this still?
2018, they stay house for 7 years and just find out the owner wants to
You
sell.
could find a,
So it doesn't have a down payment, but we'll love to buy it and sell it.
yeah, just have them find a smaller home or,
And then-
That's rent to own, so.
but I mean, yeah, just get somebody in there to rent it and then help them find a
already been renting for 7 years, so they're, it's a good renter, they're good for the money. Okay.
Or already knows they're gonna pay up.
What's the matter?
What time is it?
7:12.
Owner finance is
What's on the phone?
You know who you're talking?
How do you, he just looks like a lawyer, like he agree to
Oh, it's
contract between us?
My tenant is an investor, owns a furnished house that he's
So you-
successful
you and
rental with the city and
so-
yard in
So
that
all those
place. So
terms came up
the
with
home is
that.
sitting vacant with furniture inside, built into
And
rental,
that,
selling.
they were specified, like, the property was, it was sold for this price. I don't know, down payment of this price, they're paying their balances this, they're gonna pay for this many years. So everything that you and the seller agree,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a bad note.
Okay.
Just put it in.
It's shaking.
You wanna go over
That
here?
is fully furnished.
That's scary.
No.
Right then, right?
I've been
But,
excommunicated.
Oh,
yeah.
Everyone will join your community.
So,
You want to see?
the only kind of,
That's right.
will be the contract.
So I'll give you this one.
Yeah.
11.
So what happened?
Did
I
you already?
think I've heard this before, I don't know, if it's like really, it's an owner finance situation, and then the owner changed their, like, they want their house back.
So,
It can, what happens in
a
that?
local agent
Or is
called
it
Dave
just
said
like
that
face
so
owner
we can't
finance,
get
it's
with it
title.
on the
It's
number.
already in
It's on
It's
your
your
name.
payments,
So,
once you take it.
Okay.
as far as I know.
So what you might be thinking, have you heard something like that?
I'm thinking, I don't know the details of it, but the Kelly's situation with, with Alexis and them, their family.
Now basically.
When they lived over behind Albertsons. I was under the impression that they were buying, they were renting to buy or something direct from them or whatever, like that type of situation. But then they decided to move back and change their mind and they
So
moved.
they didn't have a rent contract.
Oh,
They weren't owners. If you do a rent to own.
Yeah.
You're not the owner.
got it.
If you do something like that, and I know something, I know she told me something about, something they were doing, but if you don't have a lot of times, and this is where being educated with real estate helps, because a lot of times, like, the shortcut or something that sounds like it's taking me on my path, cool, I sign it. Cause I just assume that we're all on the same page,
Yeah.
right? And so in a situation where somebody says, I'm going to, right, or, cause you need lease options, and so lease option is a thing, like where you can lease it and somebody has the option to buy it. But it's not like it used to. Owner finance, rent to own, all that since 2008, when the market crashed. Some of the stuff that happened with all that Dodd-Frank changed the way a lot of conversations, so even when you have a lease to own, if there's no promulgated contracts that address that, you have to get with an attorney, and the language has to be super clear. And so, most of the time,
So
when they
Joel
rent
says
to
the
own,
seller has
that's
a
why
property in your
a
river
lot of
that
people like
recently got
rent to
placed
own
into
because it feels like I don't have to have
family.
everything put together.
But,
And so as soon as
you're
you
not
hear what's
right,
own, I
it's
can,
mandatory
it's easy for me to stand here,
seller
by saying
needs
rent
to
to
get
own.
creative to make it work.
Because you hear what you want to hear, and you don't understand the contract, you sign it and say, okay, I'm paying to get towards ownership. But it's not necessarily the case, and then, so there's a lot of, non-traditional things, there's even things like contract for deed. And so contract for deed is something that people think is the same thing. And so a contract for deed says, it's considered highly predatory, because of a contract for deed, you don't get title, like I say, I'm gonna sell you a house. I will give you the house and the title when you have paid it off 100%.
Oh.
Yeah, that is predatory.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
so when you have paid it off 100%,
30 years
and,
ago.
and sometimes in those contracts, there's a natural inflation built into it. So your rent is gonna go up, to cover their taxes, it's gonna go up $100 a year. There's a certain point where you're gonna go like, or your, not your rent, like your mortgage payment is gonna go up $100 per year. There's a certain point you're like, hey, I started paying $700 for this, and now I'm paying $2,000. And then you say, this doesn't make any sense anymore, let me just walk away.
And you don't have the deed.
And you don't have the deed, and they will sell that property again, the same way.
That's great, I didn't know that. And you know who I heard that from?
Okay.
Jared.
So
Yeah,
the
really?
thirteen says the
He
owner
was
of
like,
the
oh,
property
I
will
wanna buy
continue
the property,
to 6
contract
months
for
ago.
deed, and I'm like,
The owner is tired and doesn't
Huh?
want to
What's
deal with
that?
the legal process. They say
I
someone else
explained
handles
something
it,
too,
they
and
can
he's like,
have
oh, it's the same thing, I'm like,
No, it's
I
not.
don't know.
No, it's not.
Now that you explain it this way, I'm like, but, he has money, he's like, I'll pay it in 2 years, so, I don't know, the difference in that situation. But yeah, it is that.
And so a lot of times, you know what people do? They'll say, they'll sell this at the flea market, contract for deed. Because I know there's a community that says, ooh, it's on.
But, well, going back to your question, right, like, if it's an owner finance, and the owner of the previous owner is like, I want my house back, like, did they have any legal way to
Not
go
owner
back?
finance, no.
Right? No.
No, but a lot of times, all that, if I say contract for deed, if I say
No.
rent to own, if I say lease option, all you hear
All of them in my mind
sound the same.
Yeah.
You still think that I'm about, the end game is I'm buying the house,
Right.
and so they all sound the same. The other thing about contract for deed, with foreclosure, what do I have to do? I have to go through a legal process that kicks you out of the house.
So 14,
Contract for
the
deed.
auction bid
You are
is
late
14
one
days
day.
away, the homeowner
You're broken,
owes
your contract, get out of the
195K, and the home's worth 225.
Yes.
You're packed up already to leave.
So you didn't even get like regular tenant rights?
Yeah, no.
Wow.
It's not much.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it would have to be something creative, it's not something.
Our building was born today.
Hopefully I don't forget. So that, I was like, wow.
It actually does get really warm when the commercial printer here, and it gets so hot in there. Not now, but during the day.
Yeah.
You were
I work on staff.
Alright,
there.
15, the local church owns a house near the building that's being used for staff. It's currently vacant, the board is willing to sell, but it has to
So
be
how
off
did you
market.
transition into
Preferably to someone doing good in the community.
I'm still an engineer, I'm a civil engineer,
Oh.
and I started 2
But,
years ago doing lending,
I mean,
so I saved some of my money and kind of lent it to investors.
what was it for me?
Right, and I started doing pretty good in that area, and I was tired of my job, why not make this switch? I mean, I like it, it's just the company I was at, and instead of changing companies, I just decided to change my
That's a flex.
Put in some extra work as the wholesaler, for sure.
When I got out, I still lend,
Someone doing good in the community.
but I'm doing flips, or I'm trying to do more flips, I have done two.
Where did you place it on?
I don't know.
Oh, we sold it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't
wow.
know, then, I mean, this
Yeah,
one-
we kinda
That's on the church, so it's a house.
like dig deeper into what
But
needed
then-
to be done, and our budget kinda grew by a lot,
Uh-huh.
so we kinda started marketing it out.
That would
And
be
someone
fun.
came in and then, I'll buy it. There you go. Sign here.
Makes me wonder.
Yeah, we made some money, so it's not bad.
If you, on the duplex, do you have to sell it as one unit? Like,
In this case, we did, cause we own both, so, yeah, we just sell it out. Well, and it's in the same property, it's just one cost.
Not all of them are the same. Some of them are like something like that.
Yeah.
To where one is, I mean, some of them, like if you're looking at
property near the university is fully rented
So
to
one of the
market
things that I
owners.
try to do
Cars
is, you know,
free and clear,
if you notice,
generating 1,600
there's kind of a,
easily rent
like
for
there's kind of like a same, like a.
the seller wants to retire from headache.
What I was going for is more things that I can do and create with no money.
I mean,
I can create, here's some opportunities that I can do something with, if I can get creative
Yeah.
enough, I have the flexibility to do something with this. Maybe there's a time for
this one is also
I can
something
use my brain
Yeah.
and not have to come up with a whole bunch of cash. Last time we had like a good mix of all kinds of different avenues, but this one I need to be intentional because the goal is to get more people to.
Yeah, that was kind of some of the things that we were discussing about. It could be this, or else it could be this, but we don't know because it doesn't specify. So it's like, well, it can be all of them. Depends on how you buy it. So are you new to investing?
yeah, just connect the
I
brain
am
and
like,
seller.
making baby steps towards it.
What is that you want to do?
Right now, I'm just thinking about getting the second property. Like, so probably will be, like you was talking about, just moving into a second property, but it's not the first. Just, I think what might, like, even though I'm learning about all these things, I think I have a hard time seeing myself as an investor. So when he says, like, take action, I'm just like, well, I'm not really know what the wholesale foreclosure list, like it seems too far fetched right now, cause I feel like I don't identify as an investor yet, and like the only thing that I can easily see is that path. And I think that's where the thing is, so I can see these things, I just don't know how that works for like what I have and like where I'm starting from, that type of thing, I'm trying to like.
It's crazy because I'm pretty sure.
Okay, number 17, a wholesaler from another state is marketing a deal in the local market. You have signed a contract and needs a buyer fast.
To have conversations, talking to people that go around, saying, hey.
So that's just a joint venture, or partnering up with somebody
Everybody that you know needs to know.
to the finish line, basically.
This is where the doubt comes in, where you start to say, well, what if somebody brings you the property?
That's, I was like, okay, when then they're gonna start talking to me, and I'm
Exactly, that way you get the exclusive
So you go
rights
faster.
to the contract, and then you
Right.
push it out to
And
your
that's
buyers.
called.
Yay! Like that, or just tag this.
like, I know that. Hold on.
And if Anthony doesn't want it,
But that's what you wanna avoid,
So,
because you like daisy
I
chaining
think
it, and then
that
it just
the-
loses the value.
The thought process you have is legit, it's fair, right? And it's most people's challenge.
Number 18, a vacant property has
I don't know what I
15,000 in
don't
city
know.
bonds due to code violations. The
And
owner
that's the reason why I'm trying to
says,
get
I'll
this
sign it over it, and you can take care of everything.
There is a safety net. If I go out there and actually have a conversation,
Oh, yeah,
and
perfect.
say, hey, I'm looking, the easy answer is, hey, I'm right? I am looking, I'm looking for a specific box, but it's not that you have to have all the answers, you just have to be able to ask some questions. And so when somebody says, oh, I have something, tell me about it. What's the condition? Do you have an idea what it's worth? How much do you owe for it? What would an ideal situation look like for you? When would you want to sell it around? Right? And so the more information you give me, the more ways that we can figure out what options exist.
Right.
Right? Because if somebody says, hey, I'm open to whatever, now, yes, you're looking to buy and move into it, but you may be able to get a situation that you can move into it with no money. With the interest rate that you want, because they own it outright, they just don't want to pay the taxes.
yeah.
real estate challenges and they're just not telling you because they don't know that you're looking for real estate or that you have solutions. And again, I don't have to, like, even though I say my go-to answer would be I'm part of the team, I have a team, let me get my team, let me get you that. Yes, I'm looking. Okay, now you brought me this thing, I don't know what to do with. Let me set up some time to do the thing. And then it's a matter of like, hey, what do I do?
Can you do a house hack?
Because it seems like you're gonna be ready when you go every day. And you'll never know everything.
That's so true. I mean, I've been doing it for 2 years and I still struggle a lot with like, I hate cold calling. That's something I don't like, but I do it, right? It's like, what am I gonna say and what this and whatever, but once you get someone on the phone, it's like, oh, well, why are you in this situation? And you
Right.
just start asking questions and the conversation kind of sometimes just flows, right?
Right.
One of the things that my business partner
So
told me a lot
last
was
one,
like,
a tenant
you
has
cannot
been
say
renting
the
the same
wrong
house for
thing.
7 years, just found out the owner was tenant doesn't have to
Yeah, that's true. So even if like you're going around and I don't know what to say, like if they're ready to sell, you're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the reasons why I want the conversation about it. Because if somebody that you know is going to make sure that
They've been there for 7 years already, so that could be their down payment, you know.
Number one, I didn't tell you about this ugly situation. I don't want to tell anybody. So, whether you like it or not, we're stuck together, right? And so, it's just getting into like all of those doubt thoughts, and just understanding, okay, this is legit, but okay, how do I navigate around this? There's a solution for that.
Yeah.
There's a solution for, they may say, I say I'm looking to buy property, and say I got this property for myself for $600. Whoa! I'm not looking for $600, right? I'm clear that looking for properties in mind.
The one that got the, they were
Right,
like money.
or, hey, that doesn't sound like something that we're looking for, but I know somebody that can
I
help
just
us.
don't know.
Right, if you're looking to sell it for that much, hey, you should talk to, look at.
Yeah, for real.
And now I
never told me how to do that. I've been praying
I don't have
about
to
it.
worry about something like that stalling me out from making my core project. It looked like y'all was finished. All right.
Yes.
So I'd like to hear some of the options and solutions that you guys came up with. For the first one. Or you can also go this way too, out there. A homeowner is being relocated by the military in 3 weeks. He has a VA loan and 0 equity. He's open to creative solutions to get out of the house fast. What do you guys think? What you got?
I said a subject too.
Subject 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because of VA loans are just by nature some of the best loans,
Mhm.
and taking over those payments, you got a pretty solid deal 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Subject 2. Anybody else?
That's the same thing as assumable, right?
It's not the same thing as assumable. So subject 2 is assumable without permission.
Okay. I was wondering, I was like, cause you hear assumable VA loan, right?
Assumable is we go through the process, we get approved, and we have the bank's permission. Subject 2 is we just do it, or kind of roll the dice.
So instead of the current owner being on the mortgage still and hoping the bank doesn't say,
options? Nobody's solving the problem of home ownership for business owners and foreign people. You also own a finance, a wraparound. Wraparound could also be something that you can do something with, right? You've got zero equity, you can get into it, you get whatever, but then you turn around and you solve the problem by creating an owner finance situation where somebody else brings you 20% down and they're paying you interest above his interest rate. Now you're making it into a non-traditional cash cow. Next one, a landlord owns a property in another state and is sick of dealing with property manager. It's currently vacant, needs light repairs, she's open to selling, she doesn't want to deal with showings or repairs. What'd you guys say? Not all at one time. Novation? Okay,
That's a good one.
novation is a good one.
I went to my personal favorite.
Oh, faithful.
Yeah.
Wholesaling is an option, novation is an option. Which one probably would do better for you?
Less risk, wholesale. But innovation probably.
Novation in that situation, if you got light repairs,
Yeah.
probably just do those things, put a little money into it, and get the money that you would be passing off to somebody else. A tenant just got a notice that their apartment is being redeveloped. They want to rent a house out or would rather own. Their credit is shaky and they can afford $2,000 a month and have $3,000 saved. $3,000 saved. What'd you guys say? Over here, what'd you guys say?
Owner finance, house hacking, I think we put both.
Tell me about that.
I think it was, well, for the house hacking part, I think it was more so like, since, I guess in my mind, there's probably other people also that are getting, gonna have to move, if there's anything that, you know, if you can, just cause your credit is shaky, you might still be able to get something, but then you can have someone else help, cover the cost of the house, like split the cost.
So how are they gonna get in the house? You gonna provide a house for them?
Different finance.
Who's gonna buy a house?
That was my question. I was like,
They,
Well, we
if
help
their
you
credit is
guys.
shaky, they can.
Right,
they might be able to
but
get
what are you
some.
putting them in? So you, in this scenario, if you wanted to help solve the problem, right, maybe finding a subject to, maybe finding something that you can get into it with a little bit and there's cash flow potential. But is all money good money? If they have credit, shaky credit and only $3,000 and you're going to a risky, typically if I'm going into a risky situation like that, I want a little bit more skin in the game from you. And if you got $3,000 you can put into it for your $2,000 one, and I have to go and find something for you, it may, unless I can find something that, like maybe I got a subject to where I'm in for $800 and I'm making $1,000 a month, then like, yeah, maybe there's something there, but just because I gotta look at it objectively and make sure that there's actually a deal there. Like I wanna help you solve your problem, but not at the cost of me and my family. A couple is divorcing. The wife wants her name off the mortgage. The house has a 2.75% loan and about 10K in equity. The husband has moved out and they're open to someone taking it over. What do you guys say? Assumption. What do you guys say?
we had a subject too, but I just read that the wife wants her name off the mortgage, so. But I want that interest rate.
You can if they'll let you assume it. If you assume it, you'll still get that interest rate. So when you assume it, the bank has to approve it, and you go through and you apply with their their lender for them to give you the permission to take over.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you might have to have a conversation with the attorney. If you're early enough in this conversation, when she says she wants to name off it, then maybe it's part of the conversation you have while they're working on a divorce decree. Right before they get into that, you help with the negotiations on, hey, we put this whole thing together, not an attorney, but this would be a valuable time to have an attorney friend to help you navigate something like that. A man has inherited a rental that's been vacant for 9 months. He has no experience managing the property and doesn't want to pay taxes or fix it up. He's not in a rush, but said, just make me an offer. You know what they said, what'd you guys say?
We had owner finance.
Owner finance. Okay. Are there any other options?
They put to rent after that,
Owner finance to rent.
like then rent, but.
You're talking about asking him to own finance, is that what you're saying?
I think that one could be called.
And we said flip too, but then I think we crossed out flip.
So there's a lot of options, and this is where, going back to what I was talking to the other group is, this is where, when you have clarity as far as what it is that you're looking to do, it helps with your decision making. Because there's so many different options. The quick one might say, let me go in and flip, right? But if my big goal is to start to, I'm flipping so I can own rental properties, and I'm clear that I'm looking to get to rental properties, this may be an opportunity for me to get into rental properties, right? I may be able to structure the deal in a way that he'll owner finance it to me, I can rent it out, and it makes sense from day one. A seller owns a vacant lot next to new construction homes. The city is about to put in sidewalks and utilities. The lot is currently overgrown and the seller hasn't paid taxes in 3 years. What say you? Wholesale? I think wholesale is probably the best option for that. You know the other things that we put on there? Hotel. Hotel is something that we haven't really talked about. And it's usually when you actually have your own cash, and instead of wholesaling, where you do the same thing, wholesaling is a little bit cleaner because you buy it and you'll still turn around and sell it, but the other person, there's no connection to it. It's a completely separate transaction. Any other options we can come up with for this situation? Wholesale? Somebody said building, right? Depending on how, what we are looking, if we're locked in and we say, hey, this is an area, then maybe we can figure out how to secure additional financing for this. If it actually does make sense and we have a crew and we can figure out the structure, this may be something for that. A young couple inherited a duplex that's been rented to a family member for free. It needs updates. They don't want to be landlords. They don't want to have a mortgage. They just said, we want it gone. Teacher's pet. What you got, Ashley?
We were talking about it, we had said wholesale, but also we could purchase it ourselves under market value, evict the crazy people, and then flip it. Or keep them, if they're good, you know, pay us.
Most of them.
You get paid for being able to solve problems. An investor bought a house to flip but ran out of funds halfway through the rehab. They've put $30K in so far, but estimate another $40K is needed. The ARV is solid, but they're exhausted. What do you guys say? Huh? Novation. Novation is an option. Novation, joint venture are options. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I'd run most of the time. I just don't like.
That's not a board.
All money ain't good money. So this has been my experience when I see investors that run out of money on projects. They have usually cut corners and things too. And so I'd rather not go behind somebody's failed project, knowing that, like, maybe if it's somebody I knew understand it, it was a real situation, but usually that's a lack of vision, or some kind of something came in, like, and so if I ran out of money on this thing, either I didn't have it from the beginning and I was probably already trying to cheat and do some of those things, that when I jump into it, I'm gonna have to undo some of those things. I'd rather say, let me just wait and find a great deal that is my own clean deal, rather than, the other thing that I found is, a lot of times investors in those situations, like in real life, this is a paper scenario, but in real life, most of those investors are still trying to make a profit. Like, they can't let go that I lost and let me just get out of it clean. And so they'll still fight to try and like make something on it. And that makes it hard for it really to be a good deal when you're having to come back in on those. So most of those, I just say, no, like, it would have to be amazing, but most of the time it's a no for me. A senior owns their home free and clear. They want to downsize, but they're worried about running out of money. They said that they'll sell if they can keep getting income from it somehow. What say you? Seller finance. Seller finance would be a really good option. An investor owns a furnished house that used to be a successful short-term rental with a city-banned STRs in that zip code. The home is sitting vacant with furniture inside. He's open to renting or selling if the numbers work. What you got?
Outside.
House hacking, what does that mean? How would you do it?
Either co-living or midterm rental.
Co-living, midterm rental is a good option if you can figure it out. Midterm, does anybody know what midterm rentals, who that is? Midterm rentals are, you're looking typically at 30 days or more. You're not looking at, short term is 30 days or less. A long term is a year. Midterm is usually 30 days, 6 months, something like that. And so usually your target person is construction, where construction's coming in town and doing some jobs, traveling nurses, people who are coming for corporate housing, insurance. Sometimes when people's houses burn down and they need a place to stay, insurance is like a good way to make some money with your rentals. So some of those are what are considered midterm, and those could be some, if you're able to figure out a good deal or something like that, working on your network and all that fun stuff. And that's all the ones I'm gonna go through for this list right now. What did you guys notice what I did with these ones? You notice they kind of all had similar-ish answers. It was kind of intentional because I was trying to be intentional about providing options that are creating scenarios that you're getting accustomed to, that creativity can help you solve the problem. That you can get into it with relatively no money because you're able to get creative. That was the intention of this, to say, a lot of the stuff that we're looking at and doing and saying, hey, I could figure this out having the right set of situations. I don't have to, most of those didn't require very much money to get into. Some of them do, right? And if it's $10,000, $15,000, if there's a deal, somebody's got money. If there's a deal, somebody's got money. If there's a deal, somebody's got money. And I know for a lot of people, it sounds like asking for $200,000 a lot. Probably easier to get $200,000 than it is to get $10,000. Would you agree? But in some of those type of situations, it could feel a lot more manageable because, hey, I see there's a deal here, there's something for me to figure out. Now I just gotta figure out how to come up with $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. That may be easier to understand conceptually. This is one of 2 homework assignments. Homework. We got homework. So in this one, what we did is created some, well, I'll give you these first, and then I actually should pass out the other ones at the same time. Because it's funny, my sister said, she don't know how to make some of these things a reality by. Did I get everybody? Yes. She said all these weird scenarios are cool, but it doesn't sound like anything that she would do. So, I also have your 2 homework, your 2 homework assignments. So one of them is 30 days, 30 real estate conversations in 30 days.
I don't know 30 people. Don't talk to 30 people at a time.
That means when you go to Sonic, you're just gonna have to talk to the person that's there. The person that comes out to bring her food, you're gonna have to say, hey, I know this is weird, but I got this weird thing that I gotta do, and I gotta be accountable to it, so like, don't judge me, but I gotta ask you if you know anybody that is looking to sell real estate because I'm trying to buy some real estate. Or the gas station, instead of going to pay at the pump, I can go inside and say, hey, gas station person at the gas station that I'm always at, that I always avoid because I don't want to talk to people, but I need to talk to people so I can get some real estate conversations. What's your name? I know it's weird, but I gotta do this thing. So it's 30 conversations and the outcome. It's not that hard, right? Just simple name, outcome. That's it. I think that 2 things will happen. 2 things could happen. One is you get a lot more comfortable having a conversation. Yes, you can make it, you can gamify it, you can make it fun. I used to make it a thing where if I was spending any money, like for my real estate business, if I'm spending any money, I'm getting a lead. That was a little silly game that I was playing with myself. And it was actually kind of fun because it was just a matter of like, nobody knew I was playing the game, but I was determined if I'm spending any money, I'm getting a lead. But as you're having the conversations, it should become more comfortable, more natural, because you realize like, hey, like, if I can just make it fun, I can get the awkwardness out, I just make it weird, I just whatever, right? But then also realizing it's not that hard to get to a conversation about real estate. Because guess what? Everybody has real estate. Either their apartment that they stay at, the job they work at, right? There's always something. Because real estate is a normal conversation, so being able to bring it up and have a conversation about it should be very simple. On the what's your next step, we're gonna do like 2 of them as a group together, and the rest of them are for you guys to do. And it's kind of along the same lines, right? This is actually trying to connect it with what feels like real life people that you may be dealing with, so that hopefully as you're starting to fill out and go through this, then you start to see things in real life that you actually start to make the connection with. Verse 1 says, a friend of your parents inherited a 3-bedroom house, and it's been it's been vacant for 7 months, and they don't want to deal with it. They ask if you know anyone who buys houses. What is your next step? I buy houses. Then what? Get the details. What are you asking?
Details about the property.
Anybody who doesn't know the answer probably should write it down.
What's going on with the property? What's the situation? How can we make a deal work?
Well, what does an ideal situation look like? What kind of deal are you looking for? What do you think the property is worth? How much do you owe on it? How quickly do you wanna sell it? Are you open to owner finance? Have you talked to anybody else about this? Let me call Anthony. Next one says your aunt, are you guys ready? Okay, so we're. Next one says your aunt has owned a rental for 15 years. The tenants just moved out and she says she's done with landlording. She mentioned she's open to a quick sale but hasn't listed it.
Low ball. No, that's not.
I'll quit. I'll quit.
I wonder if she'd be open to letting someone manage the property for a small fee. No? Not interested at all?
I mean, she's your aunt, you could ask for it.
Well, so you would rather give up the opportunity to own the real estate or the opportunity to manage it?
What if I don't have the confidence, the money, right? What if I'm looking for an opportunity to step into the environment, to get my feet wet and learn a little bit?
Sounds like you're looking for another job.
Yeah. It's just an idea. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that. I'm just saying.
So in that scenario, like, I think, again, being clear about what you're looking for, because it could be easy to get into it and say, because I'm looking at opportunity, right? But looking at the big scheme of things and saying, is it aligned with what I'm looking to do? Yes, this is a cool opportunity to learn something, but do you need to know how to be a property manager? Not necessarily. I don't think that with your goal of making $10,000 a month passive income, that's probably not you doing it. So there may be some insights, some things that you have to learn, but some things you can learn from watching somebody else. Just so you know, property management is the side of real estate that has the highest complaints. It is the most unhappy people. Your friend, wait, real quick. So, if the people that were here a couple months ago, I sent an email and had a list of 100 prospecting people that you can go through and write them down and scratch them out and think about people. That was another, this is like a different version of me doing that again, but like actually trying to connect it with scenarios so that you're actually thinking about people, right? When I say your friend on here talks about somebody passing away, the main point, a lot of the stuff is gonna be similar, right? And one of the things that I forgot, what's your next step? But what I also been able to put on here is what would be your strategy? What's the next step, but what would be your strategy? But the point is to make you more aware so that it's activating the reticular activating system, and that you may actually, because you've gone through this, you may actually hear a friend on Facebook talking about something like, and then say, oh wait, that's an opportunity. right? If you're locked in and you recognize the opportunities, it'll make it easier for you to see it. So your friend posted in a group chat that their neighbor passed away and their adult children are thinking about selling off the house quickly and off market. What questions do we need to ask about that? There's some different questions in there. When somebody passes away,
How many heirs?
how many heirs?
The first thing is about there you go. Yeah, how many heirs?
Why do we need to know that?
If there's a will,
If there's a will,
if there's a probate.
if it's been probated, why do we need to know these questions?
Because it's necessary in order to proceed with the sale.
Right, so the owner, the person who has the right to sell the property is no longer in existence. And so there's a legal procedure that has to be followed to figure out who's the next person who has the authority to sell it. And so if it's gone through probate, that's the person who needs to sell it. If it has gone through probate and one of the other family members is trying to do something, they don't have any authority and you'd be barking up the wrong tree. If it has not gone through probate, doesn't have a will. The will gives instructions on who is supposed to be the person who is next in command. If there's not a will, then there's a procedure that goes through doing the affidavit of heirship. And so what that looks like is, it's not just, and this is where the clarity is. You say, you're not just asking who are the heirs, you're asking who are the children. What's the difference? Well, somebody who's not experienced in real estate will say, me and my brother are the heirs. And what you'll find when you go a little bit deeper is they also had 2 more siblings that are dead. I don't understand real estate, so those people are dead, they don't have anything, they don't have any interest. But legally, they had interest, and so their interest doesn't go to me, it goes to their children. And so we need to have clarity on who were the children, who were all the children. Were there any children that were outside the marriage? Because sometimes people say, oh, it's the 4 of us. And then there's that other one over there that we don't talk about. Well, that person also has an interest. And that also changes the structure and the flow of everything, right? So getting clarity, and then once we find out I got 2 dead siblings, do they have kids? Because the interest automatically, and so following that, these are questions that we would want to ask. And that gets into a whole different set of real estate. Like you're looking at a lot of times in that type of situation, you can get, there's people who do curative title who literally get real estate for pennies on the dollar. And I mean pennies on the dollar. Because if I'm in a situation where I got 2 family members of deceased, and then there's that one wino, and the other one that always is taken off, and nobody knows where he. I can't do anything with the property. It's not worth anything to me. I can't sell it. I gotta pay taxes for it. I may be interested in selling my share, or I don't care. Whatever you guys. And so somebody who says I can solve the problem, I'll go and find all the pieces and put them all together. That person, because, hey, nobody's gonna buy this. I'll buy it, but I'm not gonna buy it for $50, I'm gonna buy it for 1. And you understand, I'm not gonna get anything, I'll take 1. And if you can buy it for pennies on the dollar and sell it for 50 cents, you made a really good chunk of change.
And you don't have to have the full control, or you get the controlling interest, right? You don't have to have all the heirs once you get the controlling interest of the property.
So
It's even more complicated.
you can make it get real complicated. You can actually get really aggressive if you want to. Like if you buy my share, because I say it's these 2 dead ones and that one, and I don't want to deal with it, you can buy my share, and nobody's gonna pay any taxes. You start taking responsibility, doing improvements, doing all these things, fixing the property up, or, you know, taking care of all the things that were delinquent in the property, and then charging, because we're all partners on this thing. And now, charging your partners for their share of it. If they don't have any money, say, no, I don't got any money. Oh, we're partners. I can sue you. Or you just sign this paper saying you don't want it anymore. Right? There's a lot of different things that you can do, and you can really get down that rabbit hole and get spicy. But you get in front of these conversations, and then going back, I can promise you, in the Hispanic community, there's a lot of these situations. A lot of these situations, you can buy a lot of properties for pennies on the dollar if you're willing to figure it out.
That's where my raise going.
I have a real case like this.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
No, it's only like the one of the people
Mhm.
passed away, and oh Jesus, but it's okay. I looking for the owner.
Mhm.
It's like the aunt and the another people, and the aunt passed away, right? And I'm looking for another owner, and like the house is like empty, something, nobody there. Maybe they sell.
What's the next step? How do you find them?
I'm looking, I don't know, I'm looking the lady for everywhere, I don't know.
At what point do you hire professional help?
Yeah.
Professional.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about, I'm talking about a private investigator. Right? If you say, I've done all this, the deal makes enough sense, then make sure that the deal makes enough sense. Right? Because you don't wanna do all that work and pay a private investigator and get property and get $10,000 worth of equity. Right? Making sure that the deal, as best as you can figure out, makes sense. But then looking and saying, okay, let me get somebody who does this professionally to help me fill in the gaps right here. These are some things that I need. And that person can help you get to the conclusion of your deal. Or at least the next step.
I don't know.
Wouldn't most of those types of situations just kind of likely end up on like a tax lien kind of list or something anyways?
Sometimes.
And like avoid all the drama?
What do you mean?
Well, like if you have a situation where inherited property, you know, all these partial owners that can't find or are deceased or with all the like it sounds like that's gonna be the case where they're probably gonna just abandon it. Like they're not gonna, especially if it's a free and clear or something like that. Like they're probably not gonna keep up on the property taxes. They can't own it. They're not doing anything with it. Wouldn't it seems like that would be likely that it's going to just end up on a
So,
stick it another way anyways.
I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna say, I know I'm on this camera, but they know I'm a black person. Right, because a lot of times, like culturally, you say, hey, I'm not gonna do that. In your family, if there was a real estate property that somebody had and was sitting out there, more than likely, somebody's gonna step up to pay taxes or gonna do something because we're trying to keep it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's usually, and it depends on who you're dealing with, but sometimes somebody's gonna step up and say, hey, we just gotta keep it, and somebody's gonna take responsibility for paying it. We may not be doing anything with it, but we're not gonna lose it. And so it may not automatically go just because of that. The other side of it is control. I can't, once it goes to the auction, I can't control somebody else outbidding me. I also have to come to the auction with cash. Whereas before, I can get all kinds of creative things, I can get a loan, I can get whatever. You go to the auction, they expect you to have cashier's checks with the exact amount, or pretty much close to the amount. And so being able to figure it out before I have control of the deal, even if I were to pay a little bit more, I can make sure that I get it rather than just letting it go truck. Just leave on a heavy note.
So, before you go on, you don't have to wait for a property to go into probate before somebody can sell it.
Correct. Correct. So I actually have I'm actually in curiosity about something. So we have helped a lot of people, and so in a normal transaction, if it has not gone to probate, we'll do we'll sell it, the title company, or the attorney will ask for an affidavit in heirship. And so an affidavit in heirship says, if you get two people that say they know you, and they sign that you sign and say, these are the 4 kids. And somebody who has known you for long enough says, yep, I know them, that's true. And then basically everybody kind of gets the same thing. And so usually in a situation like that, an attorney will say, it looks good to me. They'll send it to a title company and say, okay, we did our due diligence. So in theory, family could get in cahoots and get rid of somebody if they think that they won't find out. And that person still would have an interest if they were to find out and come back, but that's usually the process in that scenario. You know something?
No, I was just asking.
Yeah.
Cause I thought you did have to wait to when you probate before they could sell. a property.
Sometimes if you run into that, it may be a title company decision. Some title companies are a lot more conservative than others, because the title companies at the end of the day don't want to pay insurance claims like any of the other insurance. They don't want to pay out. So some may be more conservative, and they may say, we have a policy of that's not the rule.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm gonna give the rest of these to you guys for your homework. You guys can go through, bring it to the next class. We will talk through it. I hope that it helps you with opening up some new portals and thought processes and recognition and all that fun stuff. Has this been productive?
Yes.
Does anybody have any specific questions or something that they ran into that they wanna, before we get out of here? Anything specifically I can help with? You got something?
I got a couple. I do have a wholesale deal under contract right now. And I also, the listing, for the vacant lot, finally found a buyer.
Let's go.
Yeah, so, pretty legit, not pretty legit, she already went through the, bank, got approved. She's unrepresented though. So, I told her about, possibly getting somebody, cause by Texas law, I guess I can't double represent, or at least under my brokerage, they're not allowing me to.
So you can intermediate, but you can't I can't represent the seller, and I can't have a fiduciary responsibility to the seller. And, right.
Yeah, so, but I guess the lady didn't wanna do that. She didn't like that, she wanted to work with me, but I told her I can't advise her. So I did give her my brokerage number, cause I talked to my brokerage and yeah. So.
And he didn't give her my number, it's crazy.
Anthony. I only did that cause I was literally in asking for the broker, she was like, give her my number, so I was like, but yeah, no, I mean, shoot, maybe I can.
So you guys are under contract now?
So I sent her the contract to fill out literally before I came here.
You said it's a her to fill out?
Yeah, so,
Ricky move.
yeah.
What?
So
Who do you represent?
The seller.
So she chose not to get somebody to represent her, and she's asking you to fill in the form, and you're doing it at her terms?
Not her terms. Well, yeah, it is her terms because she's filling it out. Yeah. So.
You have the opportunity to write it to your seller's advantage.
I mean, I did ask her. You know, I told her that I could fill it out for her. But then she chose the blank, and yeah, I just have no guidance for this one. You know, so it's like I kind of just went through what the book said. I mean, I could still fill it out, right?
You could. I think it depends on like there's gonna be some stuff that she's gonna say, here's the main terms that she probably, is she experienced?
Not at all.
So there's gonna be some stuff where she's gonna say, here's the things that are important to me. And then the rest of the terms, you just make them favorable to the seller.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because she has no experience. First time buying a piece of property for investment.
I know she's not experienced, cause.
Yeah. Nah, it played out like crazy. So and I built enough rapport with that lady to bring her down on price.
Okay.
So I did have that conversation, and I brought her down. So it just came together like out of nowhere. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you though about that because I, you know, you have been working that, so you like know the scenario. Maybe you could try to like represent the lady. I just yeah. So super unexperienced in that. I'm not gonna lie. I want to yeah. So but yeah. So that's in the works, and then the wholesale deal.
What you tell us? He's just telling us, he's teasing us with a wholesale deal, right?
Now this one is I mean we got it, and it's it seems like a real like killer deal. You know, random numbers, super conservative, and we're just like looking for a buyer right now. We've only had it locked up for 3 days.
What's it called?
78210. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's south side, right next to I-35, Kendalia Avenue. So, yeah, I mean,
How many bathrooms?
it's a 3-2.
What price?
It's a 3-2 because it has the full bathroom. Yeah, 2 full bathrooms. So, yeah, I mean, 3-2, it's 1,400 something square feet. It does need a lot of work, but I mean, I think I got a price at, you know, way below ARV. So.
What do you want for it?
85.
3-2, 1,400 square feet, value, what does it need?
Foundation, roof, pretty much the
Pretty
whole-
much everything.
Yeah.
Hasn't been updated since 1915.
Some
It has
maybe
that
90,
original
90.
stove, it looks,
Yeah.
like.
But even with the
Lucy.
yeah,
That's what it looks like.
even with the 90, I have 90 to probably like 100K repairs. But even with that, I think we're in the ballpark.
Yeah, the lowest comp we got was 275, and the highest comp we got was
275 for Kentucky.
302.
Wow.
Listen to it. I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Man, that's exciting. What else? You bring some good news. Bring some more news. What else you got?
I mean, that's really working on something with Hector. So just waiting to see how that plays out. I actually got to get with him on that. Yeah, let's see how that's going. But yeah, and then my other 2 listings, just waiting for that to close too. But other than that, yeah, just trying to get more.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, anybody else? All right, well, I ain't gonna hold y'all captive any longer. finance class coming up. If you have any kids,
The chairs.
you could also use that.
Thank you.
Well, this one was definitely had to pay a little bit more, so.
We have our adult finance
If
class.
anybody would like to volunteer to help us at our kids' finance class.
I'll
Do
be
you
there.
want us? Perfect. What time are you doing?
16.
We run it from 11 to 2. Yeah, 11 to 2.
It was a Saturday?
It's a Saturday. Yeah, let me know.
Hard money. I'm learning as I'm researching hard money lenders that a lot of them want me to get pre-approved with them before they'll take me seriously and answer my questions. So,
Since when?
since I've been online and like started like trying to figure out
What
this
questions
stuff,
are you asking?
I haven't
Are you
asked them
asking
any questions.
ChatGPT questions?
I haven't asked them any questions yet. I've just gone
Thank
through
you.
and put in their, like,
You're
have like a
welcome.
contact us form. I'm like, hey, I'm learning, I know more, you know, contact me. It's probably because I sound